أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We commence our theme for the blessed month of Ramadan, and we continue توجيهات أخلاقية من التجارب اليومية, moral guidance for everyday experiences. There is an incident documented in the Judaic Midrash where it is said that a group of people were traveling in a small boat. One of them took a drill to make a hole beneath his seat, a hole into the floor of the boat. And his companions were concerned and said, "What are you doing? And why are you doing what you are doing?" And the man said, "It's not your business, none of your concern. I'm drilling under my seat, not under yours." This attitude is increasingly common in our self-indulgent world, where there is so much focus on personal rights rather than on moral responsibility. So much emphasis on individual freedom, freedom to choose our actions, rather than awareness of the consequence and the social consequence of our deeds. Now, in the Arabic language, this notion of freedom, or hur, the word translates as free, but also as honorable or noble in a way. And therefore, the notion of freedom is also linked with the notion of honorability in Islam. Freedom does not exist in a vacuum. They do not function without limits. Freedom also has both a positive and negative aspect. And it includes the freedom to do something as well as the freedom to avoid doing something. Now, there is something referred to as the harm principle, the harm principle. People are free to act as they wish, provided that their action does not cause harm to other people. You see, there's a saying, you have a positive right to move your hands, but I also have a negative right not to be hurt. Or jokingly they say, you have the freedom to swing your fist, but your freedom to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. So for us as human beings, as ahsani taqweem, as the best of Allah's creation by the words of Allah Himself, human beings are ethical beings with moral intelligence, and this is very important. We are ethical beings with moral intelligence. And freedom in Islam means freedom to do good, not freedom just to do anything. Freedom in Islam is not freedom from moral obligation. Freedom from, though I have the capacity and the ability to choose to do so, but if I say freedom in Islam, it does not include my right or my freedom to be able to do so. In Islam, there's a promotion of responsible freedom, a type of freedom that respects the other, a type of freedom that protects the other, a type of freedom that benefits the other. And that's why in a hadith by Imam al-Bayhaqi, Rasulullah said the famous words, "Al-khalqu kulluhum iyalullah, fahabbu al-khalqa ilayhi anfa'uhum li'iyali, wa man ahsana ila iyali." All the creation are part of those who are dependent upon Allah. And of all the dependents of Allah, the best of you are those who are best to the rest of Allah's dependents, whether they be human beings or plants or whatever it may be. You are an instrument of goodness and an agent of goodness. If we look at the world around us, let's looking at the idea of drilling a hole into a boat which can sink. The Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, consisting of 1,300 researchers from 95 countries, did a study over a 4-year period. And they found that the human abuse of environment through pollution, through deforestation, through indiscriminate exploitation of resources has caused irreversible change. Global warming is only one of it. Has caused irreversible change that are degrading the natural process that support life on earth. And this will impact our livelihood, impact the rate of hunger, increase the rate of poverty, and of course affect healthcare and the health of human beings. The World Conservation Union, in their latest reports, said the way human beings are allowing the earth to be treated, by 2035, they expect that 25% of mammals, 20% of reptiles, 11% of bird species, 34% of fish, and 13% of all plant species may face some form of extinction or are threatened with permanent extinction. You see, all it takes for evil, for corruption, for danger to thrive is for good people to allow others, let them drill their hole. It's their business. Now this story, which we find in the Jewish tradition of the Midrash, is more detailed in the hadith of Rasulullah. It's found in Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, people on a ship, this upper level and lower level. And the people in the lower level wanted easier access to water. So they thought, instead of going upstairs for the water, let's drill and get the water from the sea itself. And then the Rasul said, فَإِن يَتْرُكُوهُ وَمَا أَرَادُوا هَلَكُوا جَمِيعًا. فَإِن يَتْرُكُوهُم, if you had left those people downstairs to drill the hole, they would have drowned and you would have drowned. وَإِنْ أَخَذُوا عَلَىٰ أَيْدِيهِمْ نَجَوْا وَنَجَوْا جَمِيعًا. And if you prevented them from drilling that hole at the bottom of the boat, they would have been saved and you would have been saved. The moral guidance we gain from all of this is to be aware of the consequence of the actions of ourselves and the actions of other people, the consequence of actions. And to realize that if we allow inconsiderate people to drill a hole in the boat of society, the entire community may drown. Let us not become passive victims of what we allow to happen in our society. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.